what can we do if we feel like our sleep isn't good right now to assess and some of the changes as you've learned and been on your journey that you've made to sleep better?
I've made so many changes, and a lot of them are so simple. Right now, I have a blue light. My night shade is on my computer. So I look a little bit yellow, you look a little bit yellow because I'm blocking all the blue light. The very, very first thing I recommend people do, because it's the simplest thing to do, is to purchase a pair of amber colored blue light blocking glasses. You can get them on, I like the Spectra brand. They're about $30 on Amazon, and they have fit over kind. So if you wear readers at night, you can get this, you know, they are not sexy. They are not sexy by any stretch of the imagination. But what is sexy is good sleep. And so wearing those, I usually do it about an hour to 2 hours before I want to be asleep. Now, what that does, people don't recognize this because we're so used to this lit environment all of the time. But your body is very sensitive to light with your circadian rhythm, so our sleep-wake cycle that runs on light. And we're exposed to a lot more blue light from all of our devices than what our physiology is used to. So I was interviewing a light expert for my podcast, and they said that the blue light that's emitted from your computer screen or your phone or your iPad or your TV has about as much blue light as the sunlight does at noon. So when you're staring at a computer screen, you're absorbing the same amount of blue light that you would at noon. And what that does is it raises your cortisol levels to keep you alert. So cortisol not only is like your stress hormone, it's kind of like your alertness hormone. And what most people don't realize is that cortisol and melatonin, which is your sleepy hormone, are opposing hormones, like on a teeter-totter. So if your cortisol is high, your melatonin cannot come up. And so people are sitting there in front of their blue light devices, scrolling their phone, on their iPad, checking email, watching TV, and then they're popping a melatonin gummy. It's like, just block the blue light, lower the cortisol, and then your melatonin can come up naturally. So really focusing on your light environment. Don't turn lights on in your house after dark. Keep it dark, wear your blue light blockers 1 to 2 hours before you want to be in bed. It has to be the orange kind. You can't be wearing like those clear kind or the yellow kind. You can do that during the day if you want, but at night it needs to be the amber colored ones. So that's the very first thing. The second thing that I really recommend is, what is your nighttime routine, and does it include anything stressful? So scrolling through Facebook, looking at controversial posts about politics, that is not something that we want to be doing before bed. Having stressful conversations with your partner. Like, this is not the time to pick a fight before bed. You can know, like, if you're ever stressed, you know how hard it is to sleep when you're stressed out. So reducing scrolling on social media, comparing yourself to others, creating all of these thoughts, totally unhelpful for your sleep. We want to do calming activities. I personally watch TV before bed with my blue light blockers. I'm not like a no screens before bed for an hour kind of person. That's just not my lifestyle. But if you want to read, if you want to journal, that's fine. So creating some sort of nighttime routine to reduce the stressful activities. I don't recommend working out right before bed because that will increase your cortisol as well, unless it's like gentle stretching, gentle walking, but nothing intense before bed. So those would be the two biggest things, Jessie, is blue light blocking, creating nighttime routine, just like you would a baby. It's not like when we have a baby, do you have any, I don't know, our kids just slept terrible, and we tried so hard to create a nighttime routine. But treat yourself like you would a child. Create a lovely nighttime routine for yourself. I think next would be the alcohol. So if you're having a glass of alcohol at night, that needs to go. If you're going to choose to drink, do it earlier in the day so that your body has time to metabolize it. Otherwise, you're going to be interrupted middle of the night with sleep, right? So for women, especially in perimenopause, maybe they're having hot flashes, you got to control the temperature of the room. Keeping it cool, the 8 sleep, it's an investment. Let me tell you what, like, that's not a cheap mattress cover by any stretch of the imagination. But my husband and I justified it because we spend a third of our lives sleeping. And then the other 2/3 of our life is directly impacted by the quality of that sleep. So we're going to be sleeping well. We live in an old farmhouse. And so there was very little insulation, very hot in the summer, cold in the winter. So we wanted some better temperature control for our bed. Keeping it dark is so important again for that, the circadian rhythm. So getting blackout curtains, wearing an eye mask, all of those little things will help. Keeping it quiet. So whether that's a white noise machine, you want to keep it quiet. So earplugs can sometimes be helpful. And then backtracking earlier in the day. So those are kind of all things we do immediately around bedtime. But if we backtrack, added sugar is terrible for your sleep. These blood sugar swings, like, oh man. So eating a high carb meal, a super high carb meal, that's probably not going to be great for your sleep. Eating added sugar, not good for your sleep. So really getting specific, looking at the nutrition panel, reducing your sugar intake is one of the best things that you can do for your health. Backtracking even more in the day, reducing the coffee, switching to decaf coffee, and then even earlier, morning sunshine. So right when you wake up, within about 30 to 90 minutes, if you can expose yourself to some sunlight, outside is best because it's filtered through the windows, but getting some sunlight in your eyes helps kind of reset that circadian rhythm first thing in the morning. So all of those things, all of those tips are kind of the main ones. And those would be examples of action items. So going back to like that start daily meeting agenda, someone's action item might be buy blue light blockers and put them on 1 hour before bed, or buy an eye mask or get blackout curtains. So those are how we would incorporate those strategic pieces into that daily meeting agenda so that you're continually optimizing the right things at the right time so that the subsequent habits lined up like dominoes just fall a lot easier. Everything is easier after a good night of sleep. So did that answer your question?
No, that was great. Really in depth. A couple questions I had that came up as you're explaining. You mentioned the fact that right now I look a little bit yellow because of something physical in front of your computer or some software on your computer.
Yeah.
What is that specifically?
I just use the night shift. So on
Oh,
my
okay.
on my Mac, if you go to like system settings and then you go to display and then it's night shift and I just turn it on till tomorrow and it's always on.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then this sleep mat you've talked about, it
Yeah.
sounds like it does a couple different things. It regulates temperature and also tells you the next day how good your sleep was.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So it's called 8 Sleep is what it's called. There's other options on the market. We just chose this one. And there's an app on your phone, and so it syncs to your phone. And the goal obviously is to get 8 hours of sleep a night. And there's little channels that go through the mattress pad. It's just a mattress pad that goes on top of the bed. You can buy a mattress with it. We didn't do that. And then there's like this unit on the side where distilled water goes into, and the water is pumped into this really thin mattress cover. You can't really feel it. And then it's dual controlled. So my husband has a side because he's a little hot box, and I have my own side because I'm always cold. And so we can adjust our temperature independently of each other and sleep better. And then the other thing, when you look at the app in the morning, it gives you pretty good data about what was, your deep sleep, your REM or rapid eye movement sleep. When did you fall asleep? When did you wake up? What was your sleep quality score? And I've been sick over the last week with like a head cold, and I can tell you it's pretty accurate because on the nights I didn't sleep well, it showed me I didn't sleep well. And on the nights I did, it shows me that I did. So for me, that's pretty motivating to learn more about what did I do before I fell asleep? What did I do during the day that facilitated good sleep? What did I not do during the day that made me that facilitated poor sleep? So that's the 8 Sleep. It's a simple system once you get it set up. And you can adjust the temperature up and down manually. I think it's supposed to automatically sense what is best for you and adjust it like that. But I just usually do it manually. So
If you enjoyed that clip, press here for the full episode. I'll see you over there.
if you have a high fasting insulin, if you have excess abdominal fat, if you have high blood pressure, high triglycerides, low HDL, low energy, frequent carb cravings, those are all signs of insulin resistance. Insulin and inflammation are hand in hand.